All right, it's November 22nd. I'm back at Arrowhead Boulevard. Today was a big day. Behind me, you can see that the signature beam has been set, and we've got some video of that. Standing next to me is Bill Burwinkle. He's with Gordian Design and Construction, and he's our project manager for the job. Bill, what's a project manager do for a job like this?
So project manager's responsibilities on a project like this or any other project would be to establish a project schedule, a budget, and help ensure that the right people are being sourced to complete the project in the timely fashion that is desired.
Okay. We started talking about this building over a year ago. You've had some involvement for a long time on this, I think right around March. How's your involvement from then to now change?
I've become much more involved in the planning process as things have gone on. Early on it was very conceptual, and as it became more and more real, we started bringing subcontractors on board, outlining the scopes of work that they had to complete, and then actually getting them on site to complete the work at hand.
Okay, so as you're talking about the concepts and stuff, we take our guesses on cost and maybe tune them in a little bit more as time goes on.
That's right, it gets pinpointed closer as time goes on.
And for this project, much of the spring, we were talking about building a building on a lot to be determined later, right?
That's right.
Did that cause any issues in the planning project?
The site package usually has some of the bigger variables in a construction project, so settling on the right site is important and deserves that sort of attention.
Sure.
Looking at the different sites, I think we settled on one that fits this building and fits the needs of the project very well. I think the location especially is great, that you're so near to the general tool facilities that are currently in operation.
Yeah, we're really in the center of our other campuses, and it helps a lot. So the building itself, anything unique about it, or just run-of-the-mill for Gordian?
No, this has some uniqueness to it, especially the cranes. The cranes are something that you don't put in every single building. A lot of Gordian's buildings are large warehouse plant type buildings, but this one's unique because of the crane situation. There's also been special consideration for the workflow and work processes that go into this building. We're not just building a shell building that anybody could come in and live in and work in. This particular building has specific operations that have to happen in different areas, and so the building's tailored appropriately.
This is a custom build rather than a spec build.
That's exactly right.
So now that we get the dopamine hit of seeing the steel go up, and it feels awesome. We had the concrete work, a lot of big things going on. As this stuff wraps up, what are you going to transition to as a project manager?
So my job is to be thinking out ahead of what is happening on site. We have a site superintendent that controls the day-to-day operations that happen here. My job is to make sure that the next subcontractors up are ready and prepared when they do have their time on site. So currently I'm starting to look at office finishes, how we're going to complete some of the interior build out, trying to get those packages bought out, secured, and subcontractors ready to perform their work.
So as the building closes up, we're going to start at see the weather tight, and then as we transition to the interior part, that's a whole different scope and different trades that'll come into that.
That's right. Right now the focus on site is getting the building weather tight, particularly for the winter time. Winter's a tough time in construction. It presents its own set of unique challenges, and Mother Nature's very unforgiving. So the more work we can get done while we still have relatively warm temperatures and good weather, the better for everybody. So our site superintendent, Frank, is working to get the building dried in and tight, get the roof on, get the siding on. And while he's working on that, I'm looking ahead at the next step, which is the office finishes.
We've actually been pretty fortunate throughout the fall that we've had some pretty good weather, and I think you'll see the drone video, the pavement in the back, that the concrete where the trucks will come in and out of the building, being able to get that done was a big deal, that our weather worked out, so we have a dry way in and out of the building throughout the winter. We shouldn't be playing in a whole lot of mud.
That's right. One of the biggest challenges of winter is usually the fact that everything gets wet and never dries out. So when your ground is muddy, it limits your ability to work and continue your operations. So the more that you can get dried in, covered up, and even just stoned down for the winter, the better you are. So we're in a good position going into the winter. There's been a lot of extra effort put into this fall to make sure that we didn't get hit with a lot of problems because of the winter conditions. So
we had a owners meeting yesterday, and we were looking at some of the long lead time items, and a lot of the stuff, I don't know if everybody realizes that, but we purchased the electrical switch gear for this thing back in June of this year, right?
That's right.
How's some of that stuff going to help the project as we get through the spring?
Well, coming out of COVID, there's been a lot of material problems, not just in construction, but in the industries in general. And there are certain things that were hurt or hit worse than others, one of them being the electrical gear, another being steel supply. So purchasing the building and purchasing the electric gear on this project were two of the factors that we took into account when planning this project and made sure that they were secured early on. Another is HVAC equipment.
We bought the electrical switch gear before we actually owned the property.
That's correct.
Which was appreciative for General Tool to have Gordian helping us through that process, so that we understood that that's a key critical path component. We knew we were close to landing on the property, so buying that switch gear, there was really no risk for us to do that.
That's right. As long as you were going to build a building, whether it was on this site or another site, that switch gear was transferable, so it made sense to go ahead and source that and get ahead of the long lead condition.
In the month of October, I did several videos. We were doing the slab and whatnot, and you were noticeably absent.
I was.
For the month of October. What's up with that?
So I had my first child in October 5th actually.
Okay.
And I took a couple of weeks to enjoy the new baby.
First child for Mr. Burwinkle, and how are mama and child?
Excellent. It's been fantastic, actually.
Did he fill out a Christmas list for this year?
Yep, and Grandpa plays Santa, so
there we go.
I think he's going to get everything on his list.
Well, congratulations, and I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Same to everybody at General Tool.
Thank you. I think that's going to wrap up our video for this week. Happy Thanksgiving to General Tool, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.